have a very unique experience. You, Pete Hamm, you have a very unique experience. We can share the light of our perspective with other people. And in doing so, in literally like in recording this podcast, we're spreading a light that might hopefully inspire the people that listen to this or watch this to continue to do so. And then more lights are lit and we're creating awareness. I think that's such a beautiful thing to think about.
Shall we head to my favorite planet in the galaxy? The planet of good vibes. The planet of good vibes.
The planet of good vibes. The planet of good vibes.
It's time! All right.
I love humanity. I think it's great.
It's all good, man. I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
The Hamm Planet Podcast.
Stick around. With that being said, we are blasting off into the galaxy of good vibes in approximately 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top of the morning, folks. Good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hamm Planet Podcast. I'm your host, Peter Hamm. And if you're new to the podcast, we couldn't be happier to have you here on this mighty fine evening. If you are new to the podcast, just to preface the show, we're about 3 things here at the Hamm Planet Podcast: good vibes, great people, and glorious stories. So if you can enjoy 1, 2, or all 3 of those, you have showed up for a fantastic evening ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's hop right in to the show. Tonight's guest is a guest that is very near and dear to my heart. And I ain't trying to be soft, but as men, sometimes you come across a friend or a brother or someone in your life who makes a tremendous impact, who changes the course of your life, or changes the way that you think about life, or changes the way that you approach life. And I couldn't be more happy to say that one of those men is a guest tonight. He comes from the heart of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. He is a proud Culver Academy's alumni, and he graduated from the distinguished Company B. He also had the honor of being regimental commander, the highest ranking cadet at Culver Academies. And following his time at Culver, he went on to West Point, being the first Haitian to graduate from West Point. He has traveled the globe. He has inspired many. And I am lucky enough to say that I am one of those. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to have a good time. He knows how to make you smile. He knows how to get you going. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Mr. Pascal Brun in the building tonight. Let's give it up, ladies and gents.
Thank you so much. I think, the funny thing, this has got to be the coolest intro that I've ever heard on a podcast. And I've been on quite a few many podcasts, guys. Thank you very much for that. It's a great honor.
Well, brother, I ain't trying to hype you up. I'm just speaking the truth, because all of those things are genuinely how I feel. And I'm happy it got you fired up.
Thanks,
Pascal,
man.
to get the night going, how you feeling?
I feel good. I'm so happy to be here with you, man. We caught up last night and we were catching up a little bit earlier before the podcast. And it's been a few years. And we haven't even seen each other physically since probably COVID, I don't think. So it's great. It's so good to see you.
Honestly, it serves as a reminder every time that I interact with anyone who I went to Culver with, that you truly are a Culver family. And
yeah,
we picked right back up where we left off. And
Yeah, we did pretty instantly.
Just as always, couldn't be happier to see you. And it seems like just yesterday we were going through the good old Company B barracks.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Mikhail was down the hall DJing with Adam Holt.
Yeah.
And you and I were young gun new cadets. You were dialed in. I was still trying to get it figured out my new cadet year. But it seems like just yesterday, brother.
It's all a part of the journey, man. Yeah, it does seem like yesterday too. We were new cadets together. That's something I'll never forget.
We absolutely were. So just to preface the podcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Pascal and I met each other when we both attended Culver, and Pascal came in as a sophomore. I came in as a freshman, new cadet, and we were in the same new cadet class within the same new cadet unit. So Pascal and I were one of 12 new cadets within Company B within our year of entry to Culver. And the thing about the new cadet group is, you're a family, you're a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might not love everyone in the family at times. Pascal and I, though, always
got along
loved
great.
each other. I mean, you loved everyone. My new cadet year, there's some growing pains, which is, part of Culver. I mean,
coming in, it's high school, so a lot of kids are figuring themselves out and learning about who they are and what their interests are. It's like college. Some people don't even get to do that until college anyway. So,
right, and I feel like going to Culver genuinely gave us a big advantage.
Yeah, big time.
For example, when you were at West Point, Pascal, did you feel like you had a leg up because you had already been to Culver and been through military system?
Absolutely. The discipline that Culver instilled in us, things as simple as making your bed every day, folding your clothes, making sure your room is clean to inspection standards. Those things on top of, managing the schedule of living on your own and having to turn in assignments, that's pretty much college life. But that's what boarding school is all about. It preps you to kind of be on your own, but with extra supervision, extra safety nets. So yeah, hell yeah, definitely. It helped out big time at West Point. It was like, as you said, dialing in at Culver is just like dialing in at West Point. It was the same thing.
One thing I'll say about Culver that I really have learned to appreciate as I've become older is, brother, they had us dialed in on a schedule 7 days a week. Like,
yeah.
Due to that structure during that very essential brain growth period of my life, very formative.
That's right.
It has made me so structure and schedule oriented.
Hell yeah.
Like, if it ain't scheduled, I don't know what it is. It's not happening. Like, Culver made me that way. And it's honestly been one of the greatest gifts that I've kind of seen in hindsight, because
lets you plan ahead.
It really does. The feeling of having confidence that you planned ahead, or at least you know what's coming,
right?
It's just such a mental switch,
right? Because like at that point, if you get a wrench thrown into your plan, it's not the end of the world. You know what the next steps are. You deal with that wrench, and then you just get right back on. Whereas I feel like if you're not doing that kind of forward planning and backwards planning, then it's like every single wrench that gets thrown into your life, because I can't say it's a plan, just ends up being all consuming. So it's really good to have a plan.
Brother, couldn't agree more. I mean, there's countless of valuable lessons Culver has drilled into us, or not necessarily drilled, but ingrained into our hearts.
Yes.
And a lot of those things are so valuable. And maybe if you're a recent Culver graduate, or if you're even a current Culver student, I hope you can find it refreshing that alumni who are reaching their 10-year mark, still identifying things that they learned from Culver to this day. So God bless Culver, and God bless Pascal. Brother, what was it like growing up in Haiti?
I love that question because it's very multifaceted. There's so many different there's so many different layers.
Start wherever you want,
Haiti,
brother.
I want to start with family. Growing up, especially let's say from the earliest time that I can possibly remember all the way through 5th grade was really incredible. My family, my brother and I, because my sister wasn't born, so I have a younger sister that you haven't met. She's 10 years younger. She just graduated from Culver last year. Started her first semester at Cornell. Go Gabby.
She's crushing it.
Yeah, she is. But it was my brother and I for 10 solid years before she came around. And, I grew up so I have a lot of cousins. It's 13 of us in total, and we all lived in the same neighborhood for the longest time. They went up the hill maybe when I was getting into my teens, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But all to say, we were all together all the time, and that made growing up as a kid really incredible for me. I cherish those moments. I really think that my golden years so far, I'm still super young, I haven't even hit my 30s yet, but I do think that those many years with my family and my cousins and going up to the beach and to the mountains, and that was the best,
Just real quick, Pascal, were all of your cousins very close to you and Mikhail's age, or around the same age?
More or less. I was the youngest. I was the youngest.
You were the baby.
I was the baby.
Brother, me too. Or I was the youngest boy.
There we go.
I was the youngest
You're
boy.
the youngest boy. Okay.
I guess you are the youngest boy too.
I would be. I was the youngest of 13 until my youngest cousin, Frederic, came around. He's 5 or 6 years younger than I am. But again, I'm talking about those first 10 years of life where he was still a baby and he wasn't
right.
It was different. We were pushing him in a stroller,
Yeah. So you were the youngest grandson for a decade.
For the longest time. Yeah. Almost a decade. And, going to my cousin's house, and my older cousin, who's, it's 13 of us, so he's much older. He's 11 years older than I am. He would have me on his shoulders, and he has a younger brother and a younger sister who are 5 and 7 years older. And so they lived next door. So they would put us on their shoulders and we would go over to play Sonic on the Sega Genesis. Neighbors, yeah. And we would eat macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets together. And they would scare us. They had this funny little gorilla that was like a coin bank. But I was deathly afraid of it for whatever reason. And so was my brother. They thought it was the funniest thing to take this stupid corn bank and
Bro, I was scared of things like that too, man. It was no joke when we were kids. I don't know. I feel like I guess we were the same because someone would get something just kind of not normal.
That just doesn't look right.
And I'd be like, exactly. Oh my God, please stop. I would
that's
go
exactly
nuts.
how it was, man. Well, us being the little ones in the family, it makes sense that this would be the shared experience. But yeah, that's how it was, man. And then we even went to school together for the longest time too. So it was just nonstop family, and my family, and I think I would say even Haitian culture in general was super family oriented. I would even go as far as to say Latin culture in general, with the Caribbean and Mexico and Central America. I don't know so much about Latin culture in South America, but I'm willing to say that like I can almost guarantee that it's very family oriented. So that was one aspect
I can
that
agree.
was
I
truly
mean,
incredible.
I feel like I see that shine brightly through Latin culture, and
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing because I'm a big believer in the fact that, you know, a lot of what we do in our everyday life, a lot of the actions we take, specifically, you know, for a family, for a more prosperous future, a more special life for
yeah,
the ones we love, the ones who share our blood, you know, most importantly, our children.
yeah.
And you know, I love it. I'm family strong, Pascal. So
Hell yeah. There we go.
I
That's
think that
that's that's another thing that I think links us as good friends too, is we have shared values.
we do. Spot on, brother. Spot on.
But yeah,
And there,
that's definitely the experience in Haiti is I I'm glad that you asked this question, because I think that a lot of people, Haiti has come up in the news a lot in the last few months, a lot in the last few years, and there are just so many layers. So going to school, for example, at a very young age, I'm also very blessed to be able to have been born into a family that had a car, that had I had a very comfortable house to live in. I went to a private school, and
absolutely.
going to school just in a car, right? And looking out the window and seeing other kids my age walking to school. That's like, and by themselves. It's not like their parents are taking them to school. You see like 5 and 4 year olds holding hands going to school on their own, you know? And it's like, damn, I'm 5 years old and I'm in a car. And I would look at my dad and be like, Papi, why do they walk to school and we go to school in a car? And he would say, God has blessed us with the privilege to be able to have this kind of mode of transportation. And you need to remember that a lot of people haven't. And that needs to be a source of understanding that we need to work so that everybody one day can have a car to take their kids to school. So that's right off the bat, those kinds of values were instilled in us being little.
So Pascal, going off that, um, you know, you and Mikhail, y'all are special people, and I feel like everyone who knows y'all knows that y'all are very community oriented, very, very clear when it comes to empathy and understanding. And I'm curious, where did you get that from? Was it from your dad? Was it from your mom? Was it from both? Or
It's Haitian culture, so I would pin that on my dad. And on my mom's side, my mom, she grew up in Guyana. She was born Guyanese, and then she married my dad and naturalized Haitian. So she's actually lived in Haiti for longer than she's lived in Guyana, in her adult life. Um, but so ethnically, I would say mostly she's ethnically Chinese. So even though Guyana, like none of my mom's side of the family speaks like a Chinese, it's all like very strong Caribbean English accents, kind of like a Jamaican accent, but different. I don't know if you've ever
yeah,
heard what a Guyanese accent sounds like, but the closest similarity to what most people would know is like a Jamaican accent.
I like Jamaican accents.
So on my mom's side of the family, this is, I think, a really cool mix. Is that on my dad's side, we learned about like being super community oriented and working for others. And then on my mom's side, she taught us like the great discipline, the structure, building systems, uh, you know,
That's huge.
thinking whatever you think is your limit, you can actually go one step ahead of that. And that has been, I think that combination is
It's a
an
beautiful
incredible
harmony.
combination. Yeah, it's a beautiful harmony. And it makes sense why my mom and dad got together. And it I think after having these kinds of experiences that we'll get into in the podcast on the show,
Absolutely.
I understand why I'm where I am now is because of that melding of those values.
I love to hear that your family was so close and still is close, and the blood runs deep in the Brun family.
It does.
Pascal, my next question, sir, is going to
Mhm.
be what contributed most to you excelling at West Point? What was it that helped you the most?
I think I think definitely all of those lessons from cover carried on for sure, right? Um, that that daily discipline, it's nonstop of knowing that you have your responsibilities that you can't shirk. Um, it's funny because I don't want to at all downplay the West Point experience because it is challenging. But I do find that life outside of like a super structured system like West Point Recovery is even harder because a lot of decisions are already made for you in those kinds of systems. It's like
They
I
are.
don't have a choice. I gotta go to class. I don't have a choice. My clothes have already been chosen for me. I gotta wear a uniform. It's
Yeah.
I gotta get my hair cut, so I know that I have to schedule it every 2 weeks. I know everything I need to do. So as long as you got the discipline to do it, it's a breeze. It's a breeze. Now the hard part is understanding like there is where the difficulty comes in the West Point experience, at least in my opinion, and everybody's experience is different, right? So I can't talk to everyone's experience. I can only talk to my own. What was hard for me is that because everything is so regimented, you don't have time to think. You don't have much time to think outside the box. You don't have an opportunity to explore uh, how you want to tackle certain problems because they're looking for a very clear cut solution, right? You don't have time to really explore different thoughts of how to look at a certain situation. They want you to think about it in a very typical way, right? There is a typical way that they're looking for that is the right answer. Uh, and those are experiences that you might find in a civilian college where, they're looking for different thoughts and these kind of discussions. Or they're open. You'll see people who look completely different and are expressing themselves in absolutely different ways. You're not going to get that at West Point. And I think that is the hard part is that human beings are complicated beings. And to force somebody into a mold, to force 4,400 some people every year into a mold is great for some people and is really terrible for others. So, and I think everyone at some point feels that they're being constricted by that mold, and those are the most difficult times. So, yes, all of that stuff from cover carries on the people's skills and the discipline and the building respect and having a sense of responsibility, But I think the biggest difficult thing was getting through when you want to step outside the box but can't.
No doubt about it. Like having that in college too, Pascal, nothing but respect, brother, because that's the time when you're just like, ah, I need it. I need my freedom, damn it. Let me
Yeah,
fly. I'm
man.
a
Yeah,
peacock.
that's right.
And but you did some great things, brother.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it wasn't. It was fun sometimes, hard lots of times, and I did that. So it was 3 years of cover, 4 years of West Point, and then another 3 years at the National Police School. Except it was funny to experience that from the other side of, uh, of the sandbox, so to speak, as an instructor.
Brother, what was some of the biggest lessons and things that you really learned as an instructor?
Imagine imagine the cover experience or the college experience. Most of our audience will, I'm supposing, will have a college experience of, submitting an assignment and getting, acing it, you know, or doing really well and being proud of that, or playing a sport and you score a touchdown or a goal or whatever the case may be for whatever sport you're playing.
Or try in rugby.
Or try, if you exactly, for all fellow rugby players that are listening in. I mean, like that, it's just like a great fulfilling. It fulfills your soul, when you get those kinds of accomplishments, team and personal accomplishments. So that feeling was magnified by like a billion when I would see my students graduate. That is the most incredible feeling because there's so much time and effort and energy poured by all of the instructors and this entire like school system to create the final product, which is somebody with like these values instilled in them of service and selflessness and duty and honor and respect. And to see them come in one way and then come out another, and to see that machine successful, it's like, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
To a degree, they're your children. In a way, I mean,
in a way,
you poured your heart and soul into them. You wanted nothing but the best for them, and you
That's
trained
right.
them every step of the way with good in your heart. I mean, it's amazing to see that you did that for so many. And this is at the Haitian Police Academy.
National Police. Yep, the
Haitian National Police. Brother, when you were training the National Police, were there any students that just came from a tough background and you helped them do a 180?
99.9% of them come from really difficult backgrounds. Yeah. 90% join the police out of absolute necessity to survive because it's a paycheck that is guaranteed. And the job market for young, sometimes educated, not all of them are, because the minimum education requirement to join the Haitian National Police is actually a 9th grade education. So it opens up the possibility of a paying job to a large percentage of the population. In fact, the Haitian National Police is the largest public employer. It's one of the largest employers in the entire country. I think it comes second to like one textiles factory. But we have 16,000 active duty police officers. So it's a pretty big institution. So, one of the coolest things is actually hearing back from students when they're, on maybe a few years after they finish graduating and getting that message of, hey, sir, just want to let you know how much of a big influence you were back when we were at the academy. And it's a small message, but it's on the hard days when you read that, and it's like, oh, yes, I remember now. I remember again. Thank you for reminding me why I do what I do. Because it is a big sacrifice. It's not easy.
It is not easy, brother.
But those little messages, they make it all worth it. You impact a life.
It's such a beautiful thing because there's so much money in our world that moves around, that holds so much perceived value, and I mean, you name it. There's all types of things out there that hold so much perceived value. But when just someone who you have committed to teaching and training and who just wants the best for them. Like for me, I think about a lot of the guys who I was captain in rugby. And I've been thinking about some of the younger guys at Culver. Just hearing back from them, shit. I mean, you can't put a price on that.
Right.
I always get all teary-eyed and all soft every time I get one of those, and like it's better than $100. It's better than $1,000. It's better than $10,000. Like that is what I live for.
It's
And
priceless. It is. I think it's what we all live for, honestly. Like,
are we getting too old too fast, Pascal? Because you and I have enjoyed that feeling probably from we've enjoyed it from a younger age than maybe the common standard.
Maybe, yeah.
We're youngins, Bri.
Yeah. I think if we're having that feeling at a young age, we're doing something right. That's how I think of it. And I'm sure everybody knows that what that feeling is. And I think, at least like for me, for that reason precisely, teachers and coaches have a special place in my heart, like a special appreciation, because oftentimes I think that those roles in life in general go pretty thankless, and yet they make such a huge impact on the lives that they interact with. So yeah, if any of you listening are a teacher or coach, kudos to you. Hats off.
Amen to that, brother. One thing that it makes me think about is, in our world, we give value in monetary ways. Do this, I'll give you $3,000. Complete X, make X amount of sales, you get X amount of dollars.
Right.
But you can't quantify the intrinsic value of teaching someone a lesson, them learning that lesson, absorbing it, making it part of them, implementing it, and then coming back to you and saying, hey, you taught me this. And now they know it. And now 100 other people know
and then they can share it. Right, exactly.
And then it's just
there's a really great imagery actually of the concept of sharing information, like teaching a man to fish kind of thing, is a candle, where the secret to developing people's awareness and like a space, an environment, is by sharing information that can be beneficial to them so that they can continue to do the work. So it's like if you were in a dim lit room or a dark room and you were holding a candle, then you want to find and share the light of that candle until everybody's candle is lit in this room and the entire room is lit. So that's like literally that. I love that imagery because it helps us remember, oh, damn, like I have a very unique experience. You, Pete Hamm, you have a very unique experience. We can share the light of our perspective with other people. And in doing so, in literally like in recording this podcast, we're spreading a light that might hopefully inspire the people that listen to this or watch this to continue to do so. And then more lights are lit and we're creating awareness. I think that's such a beautiful thing to think about. That's like really incredible imagery.
What's Gucci, ladies and gents? It's your good friend Commercial Break Peter here to let you know, for one reason or another, we're taking a quick break. We hope you're enjoying the show. We hope you're loving the show. And we are back to the show. Brother, I want to take a moment to touch on mental health. I know this has been something of importance to you, and it is also of the utmost importance to me. And it's something that I'm navigating through each and every day, which I know, we had the pleasure of discussing a little bit before the podcast, maybe some topics we want to delve into. And, brother, I would love to dive into why mental health has come to the forefront of Pascal's focus.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental health has increasingly become a very central topic of my life, and I think of a lot of people's lives, especially after the pandemic. Maybe didn't really close down as much as other economic powerhouses like the US or Canada or any European country. Um, so, everybody's mental health is affected in different ways. But I think it's a really important topic to discuss in these moments, especially now that we're looking into, I guess, the new norm is what they're calling it after the post-pandemic norm. And facing the result of being quarantined for so long. In Haiti, it was a little bit different. It was not so much about quarantining, but it was about economic, political, security crisis that is still ongoing in Haiti right now. So, I just think that it would be a good topic to discuss, and especially as we've talked a lot about leadership leading into West Point, leadership at Carver, leadership in our personal lives, and how important it is to, I think a lot of the unspoken is leadership is like step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But numbers, step 1 is you gotta be present. And to be present, you need to be in good health, physically and mentally. Otherwise, you just can't be there. You can't be the leader that you need to be if you're not taken care of. And taken care of in that sense, a lot of it is taking care of yourself. So I think this would be a good thing to talk about, and I think that it would resonate with a lot of people right now.
I couldn't agree more, Pascal. And I think this this chapter of history will definitely go down as one that was tough for so many people in the world and so impactful to just so many different areas of our cognitive function. And it's unique to each and everyone out there. Everyone out there faces their own battles and their own challenges and their own doubts and their own fears and their own stressors and their own things that hurt. And one thing that has really helped me, I feel like during this time that I can at least share, and I'm right there, with everyone. I've experienced these emotions, and each and every one out there experience such a wide range of things that aren't easy to deal with. And just being able to think in those times about the goodness in your heart and the goodness that you want to pour into this world and really leaning into that and allowing that to guide your decisions, it can do tremendous amounts of beneficial things. But having the understanding though that everyone is facing challenges. Everyone is putting forth significant effort in so many different facets of life, and It's not easy. Like respecting that and understanding that for others and doing your best to be a good teammate when it comes to humanity is just something that's so valuable. And
Absolutely.
I do have to give a shout out to our brother, company B brother, Aaron Arvizu. He really hammered that home. He said one thing that has helped him because he's gone through his fair share of hardship, and one thing that helped him tremendously was understanding that you need to value every human interaction and just really put at the forefront of your thinking that this person that I'm sharing my story with, my words, my time, my energy is also doing the exact same on their end. And that needs to be a cherished thing. And that's just one thing that helps me. And I know that can only do so much, but I hope that can provide value for someone out there who's maybe having a tough time speaking to someone about something that they know in their heart that they need to have a conversation with. Or maybe it helps someone out there who has been nervous all month just to sit down and tell their significant other exactly what's going on or how they feel or the whole line. I mean, just know that it can go a long way.
Yeah.
It can go a long way in many ways. Pascal, what are some things that you have went to mental warfare with in regards to your psychological health? I mean, body health ties right into this too.
It does. Yeah, it does.
And how have you? What are some of your action steps?
Well, that's actually something that I'm working through right now. I mean,
I know you might not have a treasure map, but no one does.
No one does, right? No one does. The best that we can do is speak to our experience. You know, the last 2 years have been majorly difficult. Majorly difficult. Living in Haiti in general is very difficult, and the 3 years that I spent as an instructor at the National Police School, they were hard for some reasons, but simple for others. When I made the decision to do something else, that's when things got extra difficult. Not only because it was less structured, you know, running a regimented school-like system was automatic because of our experience at Culver, because of West Point. It was just like, this is a no-brainer. I could do this with my eyes closed. And so it made the difficulties of life in Haiti outside of work a little more easy to deal with. But I then made the decision, I want to do something else. So I started advising the government at large, the federal government, doing a lot of data science. I also opened my own consulting company. I was working with an insurance firm and a legal firm, also doing data science. I was working at the Haitian National Police's National Intelligence Bureau, also doing data science. So, I mean, I was running a lot of jobs all at once these last 2 years. And
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize now that I was taking on more work to actually keep myself distracted from how screwed up things were getting in the country. And it was like a crescendo into.
Were you kind of blind? Were you kind of blind to it, at least at the start? That was what you were using, like as your distraction.
Blind to it, yes, blind to it. And I wasn't aware of it until now, where I'm transitioning into a new position, a new role, a new job in the US. Right? I made this decision. I'm not going to live in this toxic environment anymore. And
right. And
now that I'm in this transition period,
you have fantastic opportunity, I know, ahead of you.
Yes, thank God
Which
for
is
these
well
kinds of
earned.
opportunities. Thank you very
Well
much.
learned, brother.
Thank you. So I mean, yeah, it's not until now where I have all this downtime waiting for some immigration paperwork to get done so that I can get to work, that I have time to think about this experience and realizing exactly, like, it's first of all incredible that our bodies and minds know how to keep us alive, right? That is incredible.
It really is.
Yes.
You don't really get to
Human
know that
beings
until
are
you're a
resilient.
grown ass man. Like when shit's getting hard. Like
Shit gets real.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it
And
does.
it's great to see. Like, hey, I'm still eating. I'm sleeping on something.
Shit gets real, and we survive, and our instincts kick in.
Staying alive.
Staying alive.
Staying alive.
Man, my brain was playing that on repeat for the last 2 years.
Brother, I've had Staying Alive and Push It to the Limit alternating for the past 2 years. Kind of a problem. Maybe I need to get it checked out.
That's true. Yeah.
You had some Push It to the Limit mixed in there?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I mean, one thing that I think that's great that you've been doing lately, Pascal, which has definitely tuned me into this, is you're taking a look like at your life and taking an analytical approach to your emotions. Like saying, hey, I experienced blank. Maybe this was extremely hard. This was traumatic. Or this was just like exhausting. And like that's how it affected my mental health during that time.
Yeah.
And I performed like X during that time. And I think that's something extremely valuable when you're able to take a look back, because I feel like one thing I know sure as hell I need to do it more, because there's so much value in it, and it's kind of a lost practice from what I see, is looking back. Like,
Yeah.
look, what did you do yesterday? What notes did you write down yesterday? What did you do? How did you feel last month?
Right.
What were you doing? How much water were you drinking? I mean,
Right.
I feel like that's one thing that is so valuable that definitely needs to be looked at more across the board.
Man, you're right. You hit the nail on the head there. In fact, at West Point, we have mandatory psychology classes.
Yeah.
And counseling classes. And one of the things that we learn about in counseling is the leader development model, or the growth model. And what that is we love diagrams in the Army, right? So it's a triangle.
Oh, absolutely. I still love a good diagram.
A good diagram is fantastic. So you have in the leader growth model, you have this triangle, and the 2 points of the triangle are experience, knowledge, new knowledge, and reflection. So you need these three things in order to grow as an individual. You need to acquire new knowledge, and through that acquisition of knowledge, it enables you to have a new experience. Because if you think about an individual that, say, for example, falls into a hole, right? You took a few steps, the hole, you see it, but you don't know that if you continue to walk straight forward, you're going to have a bad experience in it and fall into this hole. So you now have acquired knowledge. You fell. You didn't like that. You don't want to do that again. So you climb out of the hole and you step back to where you were before. And that knowledge allows you to have a new experience. But for you to know, it's not enough just to acquire the knowledge and to have that experience. You need to be able to reflect on your experience and say, I've just acquired new knowledge of an experience that I've never had before. And I know exactly what took me from point A to point B that I didn't like. What can I do to change it? So, and it's common sense, right? But I think it's so easy to forget that, we need, if we're ever feeling stuck in life, we need to try to ask ourselves, which of these 3 points is missing something? Am I not reflecting enough? Am I not pushing myself to have new experiences? Or do I need to acquire new knowledge in order to get to where I want to be?
One thing I think that can really provide a lot of value if people kind of identify this connection is that reflection equals understanding, and understanding equals connection.
Yeah.
And I feel like just having awareness of that can really pay dividends.
Absolutely.
And brother, love to see it.
Yeah. So that's been, I know you had asked a question earlier about what got me through West Point, but what are one of the most poignant things that, gets us through. And I think that's one of them, that understanding of reflection every once in a while. I mean, we're already in school at that point. I mean, life is school, right? So everything is new knowledge and new experiences. And I think the missing key that a lot of people miss is that element of reflection.
A huge thing, which I'd like to at least get your thoughts on. For me, reflection is looking back at previous data I tracked, or a video I took, or like I do these video journals where I'll check in and say, hello, this is Peter Hamm. This is January 11th, 2016. I just worked out. I went to Subway. I drank too much tequila last night. I feel happy right now. I'm stressed about this. I'm ready. Like, it's some of them are funny. Some of them are like, some of them hurt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have both.
Yeah. That's those are a few of my reflectionary ways to look back at things. Do you have anything special
on the topic? I think on the topic of mental health, and for everybody listening as well.
Yeah.
If you want to take those journals to like the next level, and this is something that I've learned, my last partner helped me understand this very well as well.
Girlfriend?
Yeah. And she was a meditation teacher. And she helped me understand this a lot. Is like not just looking at your experience, like I went to Subway or I went to the gym, but what about that experience like did you feel, and how would you describe the emotions that were attached to that experience? That's where you're really setting that observer back onto yourself, that self-reflection at a much deeper level. where, of course, you could take something analytically and say,
That's so
I did
true.
this many reps, I beat my PR. Like, but what about beating the PR is the reason why you're journaling this in the first place? Is because it makes you feel freaking awesome about the fact that you beat this PR,
It made you
Or
feel good enough cognitively to want to document it, which is
absolutely.
pure thinking.
Or if you had a bad experience with somebody, like you went to work and you had a really tough conversation with one of your employees, right? I know that you're a business owner, so, and you might come home drained from that conversation, and you're doing your daily journal. Don't just say that you had a conversation that you wish you didn't have to have with your employee. What about it that made you feel drained when you came home? And that level of reflection, if you're able to get there, will really lead to a lot of understanding, both about your experiences and yourself, which I think will aid in your ability to have these really meaningful relationships in your life.
I love that, Pascal. That's such a wonderful way to look at it. And I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I get so caught up in life sometimes where it's, hey, you accomplished this goal. Now you need to do one more. Or it's, what's next? What's our next? Okay, you did 10 reps last week, going for 12.
Right.
Okay, you I mean, the list goes on and on, but
Right.
being able to, and I'm not just talking working out, there's all different factors of this. Think about how you felt, like at the core, not what you were thinking about necessarily, but what state was your body in? What state was your mind in?
Exactly. Yes.
And
yes.
I personally like to always think how you feel, mind, body, and spirit, which, Pascal, I know you're a big mind, body, spirit man as well. How you feel, factoring all those together that is your health. It's not how you look. It's not how much you got in the bank. It's how do you feel?
Yep.
That's why I love saying, how you feeling? Say you're feeling good, and I can tell you're being honest. That I'm feeling good too, usually.
There we go.
It's the simplest, most effective thermometer in life, in my opinion, Pascal.
How you feeling? That question.
How you feeling? You can use it, brother. Permission granted.
Thanks, Pete.
Brother, I think it's about that time for some would you rathers.
Oh, damn. All right, let's do it.
Are you fired up? Are you feeling good?
I'm fired up. Let's do
Are
it.
you
Would
feeling
you rather?
alive? You
I'm
feeling
feeling
alive,
alive.
Pascal?
I'm feeling alive.
And question number 2 after the song. There's the intro, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what that means. We have question number 2 of the Hamm Planet Podcast. Would you rather? Mr. Pascal Brun is stepping to the stage. He's chuckling. He's laughing. He is ready for the question in 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic timing. Thank you, Rick.
Incredible.
Rick and the
Thank
band
you,
over
Rick.
there. Good job. Keep her up. Brother, would you rather sip gin with Ryan Reynolds or shoot tequila with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Now, I think Ryan Reynolds is such an interesting dude. His like quick wittiness is incredible. I love it. I think
The Rock, you said?
Ryan Reynolds. Yes.
That is honestly, that's the top one.
I gotta pick Ryan Reynolds there.
What's your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie?
What do you call it? Deadpool, hands down. Every day of the week.
Deadpool is such a great movie. Good soundtrack,
Yes. And it's a good soundtrack, yes. Deadpool has got to be one of my favorite movies. Like, one of my favorites, what do you call them? Superhero movies.
too. Yeah.
It's just the
Same.
right amount of, like, hilarious and action and romance and
It's in a-
drama and all of it. It's just like it's all in there.
And it's in a class of its own.
It is, for sure.
Because Deadpool's not your regular, everyday, normal guy.
No, that's what I love about it.
Brother, I love it. But I gotta say, I gotta go with The Rock. Just because
Oh, really? All right.
I love The Rock.
The Rock is a pretty cool
And
dude.
this is a hot
Especially in
take.
his
This is a hot
WWE
take. This might
past.
be a YouTube short. But I'll say it here. I'll say it right now. And if you agree, great. If not, no worries. Love to hear it. I think The Rock could be a great president.
Is he actually running for president? This could be interesting.
I don't think there's any.
Was that a joke?
Kind of,
It was just a media. No,
Oh, was
real,
it?
he was actually.
Oh,
yeah,
no
it
shit.
was on social media. The Rock for president, and he was like laughing about it. Like, of course, he's gonna ride the wave, but
the old Rock laugh.
these days, anyone could be president, man. And why the hell not?
I don't know about. I don't want to agree with that, but I mean, anything. You put your mind to anything, you can make
It's
it
just
happen.
a reality. It's just a reality, man.
Anything is possible, brother. But The Rock, thoughts? I don't know if he's too educated on the politician side and the militaristic side. He's gonna need a damn good team of advisors, but
There we go. Yes.
he'd get the people going at the speeches.
Yes, he would. That's for sure.
And he's
Kind of like
very
Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor of California. That's
exactly
gets people going.
very unified. I feel like The Rock is even more unifying.
Not governor of California. What do you call it? Mayor of LA.
Who? The Rock?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, Arnold was the governor.
The governor too. So he was governor.
He was
There you
governor.
go.
Oh, he was governor.
Okay, yeah.
How insane is that?
Incredible. I think that's one of the highlight stories of the American immigrant story.
It really is.
Yeah.
He's an inspiration. Guy won 9 Mr. Olympias.
Wow. Incredible.
Love Arnold. God bless Arnold. All right, Pascal. Next, would you rather tonight? Would you rather never be able to go out during the day or never be able to go out at night?
I'm gonna pick never be able to go out at night because at night, yes, I enjoy a nice drink at a cocktail bar every once in a while. I love my fancy dinners when I can.
Once in a blue. I mean, yeah, same.
But at the same time, I mean, at night, Netflix and chill, or
Do that indoors.
getting work done, getting good rest, cooking dinner at home. All of these things. I don't need to go out for those things. And during the day, I mean, I don't want to give up going hiking, going to the park, getting my jiu-jitsu in.
I feel like I wouldn't be the same person if I couldn't go outside.
Man, imagine not playing rugby ever again because you can never go out during the day.
I'd go insane. I mean, I have to
No
walk
sports,
out.
basically. What nocturnal sports exist? Nocturnal, I mean,
There's night hiking, which is like just a real life horror movie, which I do that. I do that a lot, honestly. I take the real life horror movie over the fake stuff.
there we go.
But no, I'm going definitely
Okay.
daylight as well.
You too. You're also good daylight. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that would be just weird to be a night insaniac.
Man,
Yep.
going to a French bakery in the morning and getting a croissant and a coffee is one of the greatest things. And if you haven't done it, I challenge you to have that experience. Just walking into a French bakery in the morning and smelling all the fresh bread is, well, for me, it's like
What about a Vietnamese bakery?
Vietnamese bakery. I don't think I've ever been to a Vietnamese bakery. If I've been to a Korean bakery, those places are pretty awesome too.
Brother, you should come to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
We have a lot of phenomenal donut shops that are under the radar that are pretty damn good. Not gonna lie.
There you go. Okay.
And they're not. They love me.
I'd be happy to try it.
They
Have
know they.
Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah, good. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Love to see it, brother. Brother, scooting and booting right along. And I think it's fair to say that last question, best question, brother.
All right, let's see it.
Are you ready, good sir?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Brother Pascal, would you rather have universal respect or unlimited power?
Oh boy. What's the point in power without respect? You're just like a huge tyrant.
It doesn't necessarily say you won't. It says universal respect or unlimited power.
I think universal respect.
I mean, for me, universal respect would be my vote.
It would be my vote as well, because I think, I mean, power without looking at every other thing that leads to like good power rather than tyrannical power. There's so many other like puzzle pieces.
Right.
Power without the rest of those puzzle pieces means nothing.
Respect
is where it's at.
Immensely more powerful than power.
Right. And you know what? To get the respect universally of people, and I know this is a hypothetical, but it takes a lot to get someone's respect.
It does, brother. And one thing I've really been trying to dial in on and focus on is like to keep the focus on seeking respect from others, not attention, not necessarily money, but seek respect first, and the rest will fall in line.
I think so,
brother. I respect you.
I respect you too.
I love to see it, brother, and I respect this phenomenal night we had. It has been one for the ages, one for the books, one for Culver history, and we hit it big, brother Pascal. And next time we're together, we shall do a good old episode in studio.
Yes.
Whether we're in Silicon Valley or whether we're deep in the heart of Texas.
Oh yeah, there we go, brother.
Brother, I'll pencil you in. Brother Pascal. Pascal, where can all the fine folks out there listening find you at? Where can we show some love to?
Everything is Pascal A. Brun, all of my social media. So whether that be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, what have you. YouTube, yep. Pascal A. Brun.
Make sure to subscribe to Pascal on YouTube. Make sure to follow Pascal on Instagram. make sure to show him some love across the board, because he is an exceptional man, and he has a knack and a gift for sharing a lot of the wisdom and lessons and experiences that he's had throughout his life with others. And it's always a special thing to have someone like that in your life. So make sure to show Pascal some love. You won't regret it, ladies and gents.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
Brother, thank you so much. I can't say how much fun I've had and how happy I am to just catch on up. It's like we picked on up right where we left off.
Right where we left off, yeah.
Didn't skip a beat. And I'm so happy that we got to have a great episode. And I'm so happy that we're going to be keeping in touch. And greatness lies ahead, brother. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, it does. And I can see it for you as well. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Pascal, it's been an honor, brother. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed tonight's episode, please make sure to give it a good old share. Share it with your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your best friend, your second best friend, and anyone who needs some good vibes in their life. Because we on the Hamm Planet Podcast are sending the good vibes to all-time highs. And it has been an absolute blast to have the one and only Mr. Pascal Brun, a prestigious Culver Academy's alumni, a beast of a regimental commander, and the first Haitian to ever graduate from West Point. We are in the presence of greatness. And if you're listening right now, greatness is within you. I just want to let you know that. So, with that being said, ladies and gents, remember, you can never overdose on the good vibes. Salute, and until next time. All right, brother, that's the cut. So, I mean, we